First Watch Now.
What you need to know from the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Hosted by Cochise County Public Information Officers Carol Kappas and Grady Butler. First Watch on 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look into your Sheriff's Office. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Kappas, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office, and Sheriff Mark Daniels. Good morning.
Good morning, Cochise County.
Hang on, Sheriff. I didn't have you try again.
Hello, everyone.
There you are. Good,
I'm live.
Those extra buttons I have to push, you know. Well, let's talk about the charity ride coming up, because today is a deadline to get your applications in if you're a 501c3.
You know, and we didn't get a lot of applications, which is amazing because we give out historically, we've given out three $10,000 scholarships. Mm-hmm. Now, that's a lot of money for any nonprofit. And I mean, it's a simple application, but we look at those, and we like to recognize a veterans group, a youth group, and then a group somewhere within the community that's doing good things that we can share the benefit of the charity ride. And this is a community-sponsored. Our partners are Laldy's Automotive and American Southwest Credit Union. Those are our partners in this. And then we have many, many sponsors that make this happen. So please take a look at that. If you're looking for some funds under our 501c3, which is our nonprofit, where we can actually give money away. These are not tax dollars we're giving out. These are monies that we raise that we can give back into the community. So it's a great event. So if you're interested in that, go to our website. And Carol, I think you can give more details than I can on that.
5 o'clock today. Make sure you have your application in, and you can find it on our webpage at cochise.az.gov/sheriff. There's a middle banner. It kind of scrolls around, but you'll see Sheriff's Assist Team application. So you want to make sure that you take a look at that, fill it in, get it into Todd Linendahl. He's the sergeant over our COPS unit and knows everything about everything, just saying. So make sure you get that in, and he can take care of it. We need to see how many people we can get to apply for these awards, because it's I don't want to say free money, because you do have to appear, you do have to make sure people understand what your organization is all about and how you can give back to Cochise County communities. But please make sure you take a look at that and jump right on it.
And it is, again, I reemphasize, these are community dollars that are raised thanks to our businesses and individuals in the community, and then we recycle it back into the community for the good of the community. And the Sheriff's Office, we take none of those. We don't take the money. It's not us. We don't have administrative costs that we use there. That money goes back into the community. So if you're interested, you see a need for some funds for your nonprofit, youth or veterans, or we've done animal care groups, you name it. Go ahead and jump on our site today and get an application in.
And the charity ride comes up in November, but the applications need to be in today by 5.
That's right.
Okay.
And we market it with it. So all year that we're out there raising funds and talking about the event, you're part of the marketing on that, because we advertise your business as a recipient of these funds.
All right. Well, let's talk about the back to school. It's here.
And we were involved in the back to school last Saturday at the mall back there, and quite busy. But yes, it's amazing school is starting so soon. In fact, Bisbee schools start here in a week in Bisbee. I think a week or week and a half before the end of the month they're starting. I'm like, wow, doesn't seem too early to be starting for school.
That's right. And Grady was at the back to school Sierra Vista.
It was
Thank
so
you
fun.
So much.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Good
so
time.
Hopefully you didn't die from the heat.
It was a little warm in there, yeah.
Yeah, so whenever we do that, just like, we're not going to pass on trade secrets, but whenever we do that, we tell them we need electricity because we have to bring a fan. It is so hot in that place when you have that many people compared.
I was going to say, it's a flood of people and a flood of kiddos just coming in there, and it's loud too.
Yeah, it's very good, but it's a lot of fun.
It really is.
What's great is we gave out some educational material for kids going back to school. And then also this week I've been handing out certificates thanking people for helping us with the printing of that. So you might get a visit from me saying thanks for supporting the Sheriff's Office. So
that's right. And when you do that, we want a photo too, so we can use that for future reference.
Yeah, that's good.
And we also need to shout out to San Pedro Kiwanis and Just Kids Inc. They do the Whale program, which is where they give car seats to moms and dads for their kiddos. So we partner with them on that, on the exterior side of the mall, helping them there too. So shout out to San Pedro Kiwanis and Just Kids.
And the Sheriff's Assist Team for driving the command unit over there and making sure that they use that as a rehab point, making sure people don't melt in the sun.
Oh yeah, it's hot. Boy, it was hot. So no, it was great.
And then the chamber, let me tell you. So Sierra Vista Area Chamber of Commerce.
Miss Melanie and team.
Miss Melanie and team. So it's it's a competition. I saw the
friendly though. Friendly.
Yes, I saw the shootout wanted posters that
Did you
they're
see
using.
that?
I did.
The Western theme.
Yes. So the sheriff's office versus the school superintendent, and I have to tell you, so we're trying to get people on our team, and what we're going to do Tuesday and Wednesday. If you're a business and you get a call from somebody wanting you to join the chamber for the many benefits that it has, the biggest one, I mean, you have the network that's available through the Chamber of Commerce. You have if you join, and of course, it's based upon the number of employees you have, there's a lot of good features to that in addition to the networking and, backing businesses. You get $800 of advertising. We used that last year.
Yes, we did.
For Veterans Day through the Sierra Vista Herald, both online and in print. And then you get Staples. You get about a $50 gift card for Staples to do your printing and what needs that you have there. So there's a lot of benefits through the chamber. And so we're in this competition, and we have to see how much we can do to increase membership, chamber membership. So we are going to smoke everyone, just saying. And
That's you, Jackie.
Yesterday I called University of Arizona South, and I was looking for somebody that I know there, and she's not there. So I just went through this whole spiel. It took me like 3-4 minutes to go through the whole, I really need somebody from there on my team so we can get this thing done. And after I did that, she was so lovely. She said, we have our own team.
Yes.
I was like, ouch.
They're part of the enemies, Carol.
I know. I should have researched that a whole lot better. So then I felt foolish, and I said, okay, well, I was just, testing the waters and see what you guys were doing. So they wouldn't tell me. So hopefully Tuesday and Wednesday, Team Sheriff will be able to make sure that we raise as much money as we can for the chamber, not as much money, as many members as we can.
Right.
So we're working on it. If you get a call from one of us, that's what it's going to be. Please, 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 don't go with anybody other than the sheriff's office.
Well, it is. It's a friendly competition. It's a nationwide thing they've done throughout the country, and that is to promote your local chambers, which promote your local communities. And everybody talks about we want more businesses, we want more population, more community events. This is what the chamber's all about. So that's why we're part of it. I mean, we're not into fundraising or trying to raise money. We're trying to enhance the greater Sierra Vista area. Cochise County is a regional thing. It's not just in the city. And bring more to the chamber, who can bring more to our community. And they do the Christmas parade, for example. They do many events at the mall, working with Sabra and her team over there. Just a lot of events throughout the year. They bring business expos together, hiring expos. This is all good things, and that's why we're a good partner. We're a member of the chamber.
Right.
And Sheriff, that now that we have these microphones sitting in front of us, we can actually say that if you're not a member of the Chamber of Commerce, contact us at the Sheriff's Office. We can do a little preemptive strike here with the radio.
That's true. We have you. That's true. There's a reason you're on that team with us, Grady. There is. And I looked at and Jackie's a very intelligent person, how she would recruit. So I tried to get in front of her recruitment when I was picking members like you guys, because I know she'd be infiltrating my camp. And
right.
She tried. And but we got a lot of great members, and it'll be a lot of fun next week. It's really a friendly competition, and it's just going to hurt it. And next Friday we can update everybody if we're going to win. But by chance something goes wrong or awry that I do lose to Jackie, I got to give her a public apology and say that she won. That's going to hurt real bad.
So if you have a business and you're not a member of the chamber, please just send us an email. We have, they're called, I can't remember what the name of that form is, but I call it a mulligan. So we can sell mulligans before this. So we'll make sure that we have that out there. We'll just put it out there as much as we can. So just give us a shout if you have a business and you're looking forward to being part of the Sierra Vista area chamber.
Good opportunity as we come back after a big, tough year, 2020. What an opportunity to grow Sierra Vista in the greater region. So please give us a call.
That's right.
This has been a kind of a news-making week in Sierra Vista. We've had a couple of events, but let's go ahead and start with the shooting.
The city of Sierra Vista had a double homicide off Rye Boulevard. Very sad. We had 4 or 5 deputies assisting the police department on that and bringing the suspect into custody. And I'll tell you, this is a small community, and when you have a tragic event like that, everybody knows somebody, and it's the greatness about Sierra Vista because we're still small, and I like that. But unfortunately, it unravels very quickly. People want answers, and I talked to one of the victims father the day after he called, and I just spent some time with him. Those are tough conversations to have. I'll just say that, and obviously, the facts will come out here through Sierra Vista Police Department and through their investigative team. But it's a tough one, and my condolences to both those victims involved in that.
And after that, we had a fatal accident on Davis Road,
Yes.
milepost 5. That's on the Tombstone side, if you will. And so, it's unfortunate that the man was just 43 years old from McNeil, had a vehicle rollover. And anytime you have a situation like that, it's a tragedy. You just have somebody driving and then something happens. Our investigators went out there, so they're still working on that report. So just making sure that you're careful when you're driving.
And with the weather right now, we're going to talk about that during the safety message. But, yeah, this individual was from the Elfrida McNeil area, popular family down there. And so, again, whenever we have these, I always think of the secondary victims, the ones that are suffering as a result of this tragedy. So my condolences to that family also.
And you were, making speed racer trips this week, not speeding. We know that's not it.
Of course not.
You went to Flagstaff one evening and came back the next morning. Tell us, what were you doing?
Well, the annual law enforcement summit, they have it every year up in Flagstaff. It's always nice this time of year to have a conference outside the heat. And it was beautiful up there, truly beautiful up there. But I went up late Monday afternoon, evening, and then I'm chair of the Arizona Sheriff Association, president for them, and had the meeting till about noon, then shot back here for an event that evening. So, again, it was a quick trip, but it was a good meeting with all the sheriffs and coming together. And last year we were all virtual, so now this was really our first meeting to come back together. And the law enforcement summit, you have all the police chiefs from Arizona, ACOP they call them, Arizona Association of Chief of Police. They were there, the Attorney General's office, you name it. I mean, there's a little bit of everybody there, the governor's office. So it's a big government come together. They do it every year in July. So it was nice seeing everybody. It really was. I just couldn't stay very long.
Because you had an event in Sierra Vista, because you are deeply embedded in our communities. And one of the things that's coming up is the Miss Sierra Vista event.
Miss Sierra Vista, end of the month. And that's, you don't see a lot on it, but it's at the end of the month. And these ladies and teenagers that go out there, I mean, they work so hard. It's a competition. I mean, they go out there and they sing, they dance, they get up there, they speak. It's incredible the effort they put into that. But that's coming up at the end of the month. There'll be more coming out on that. In fact, next Friday I'll give a lot of information on that. But yeah, I'll be emceeing that. But it's great to see the talent we have by our young ladies here in this community. But that's coming up at the end of the month.
And they usually, the winner, attends the charity ride, too. I mean, they get out there, they help us with community events, so we appreciate the reciprocation in that. So it's a really good way for them to give back to their communities.
Right. And they'll be crowning the Miss Sierra Vista Teen, Outstanding Teen, and also the Miss Sierra Vista. And then they, as a team, will participate in community events throughout Cochise County. And they help us in the charity ride, like you said, Carol, and many other events you see them out there. But that's the night they crown. The reigning Miss Sierra Vista Teen and Miss Sierra Vista will be there to turn over the crowns to the new one. It's a very nice event, and Mary that puts that together does an outstanding job. But again, it's going to be at Buena High School Theater, and I believe it's on the 30th, the Saturday the 30th.
And we've entered a new fiscal year, and the budget is now finalized.
Yes, the budget's finalized thanks to our Board of Supervisors on that one. It's a healthy budget this year. Some of the challenges they're going to have to deal with and we all have to deal with as community members, is the public safety retirement. We know that. It's a program that it's kind of tough because though we're stuck with a debt, we didn't create the debt, if that makes sense, because it's an investment. It's a one retirement system for the state of Arizona that we're all involved with. And unfortunately, over the years, the system has aged itself out, so you have more people receiving the benefits than those in the system. That really, now what you have is a debt as a result, which obviously goes back to the communities and the taxpayers. So yeah, I get it. It's a challenge, but it's something we need to be smart about. We can talk about it all day. You see so many people talking about it, but let's get it fixed. We got to find a way, whether it's through bonds, whether it's through larger payments, whatever it is, because it's not going to go away. It's truly not going to go away, no matter how much we talk about it. And I've had my team. I've been up at the state, talking on both chambers at the state level about the pension. I've talked to the governor about it numerous times. I've been in committee meetings with it. Unfortunately, it's not going away. I wish I had a better answer on that.
And some of the other meetings that you have coming up, you're going to start doing the annual sheriff's meetings. We weren't able to do that during the COVID thing, so tell everybody what you do in your annual sheriff's meetings.
These are great meetings, and like I said, we just had one Tuesday morning. In fact, I'll be up in Apache County the first weekend in September. But we actually we have our partners there, from the director of DPS, Arizona Criminal Justice Commission directors there, ICE is there, Border Patrol's there. I mean, HIDA, which is a high intensity drug trafficking area director for the state of Arizona. All our partners, the governor's office. I mean, you name it. We as sheriffs meet with our respective partners that we work with day in and day out, and then we dialogue, we get updates from them, and then at the end we do roundtable with sheriffs. We talk legislative, what's legislative, how to go. We get our updates from our committee members that lobby for us up at the state level for sheriffs. So it's just, we come together. What are the immediates? We got a golf tournament coming up in October, sponsored by the Arizona Sheriff Association. So, and like any organization, you know, we raise funds too that we can help support and sustain what the sheriffs are all about in the state of Arizona. But also on that is to help outreach programs too for scholarships and things like that. So again, it's we have great meetings. They're good. Sheriffs there's 15 of us, and we come together and work for the community in the states.
And it's monsoon season, so we need to talk about driving in the rain.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's some people out there can really comment on this one, and you know, and especially on their heavier rains. Mm-hmm. It's like and I get it, we don't see it. So when it happens, that foreign wet substance comes from the sky, it scares people. And then what happens is when the water hits the road and the oils come up from the asphalt or in the mud, if it's dirt, that's when the roads get very, very slippery. And enhancing your speed only enhances the probability of a bad situation. So we ask you slow down. And this truly slow down when it rains like that. And we want you to be reasonable. If you don't feel comfortable driving in a storm, pull off to the right, off the roadway, and I tell people, turn your lights off and just wait till the storm lessens, and then you can move forward.
Keep your foot off of the brake pedal.
Yeah, that's what I said. Turn your lights
yes.
off. Yes, because you don't want to be the person. Because another person sees lights, they think you're in the lane, and they'll drive towards you. So turn your lights off. Foot's off the brake. Good point there, Carol. And wait till the storm lightens up.
And driving. Let's just jump a little bit ahead right now. What was your stop of the week?
Stop of the week, you know, and I drive an unmarked Tahoe, but you can tell it's a government vehicle. I mean, it is a government vehicle, and it's set up for law enforcement purposes. Well, I had a guy go by me. I saw him come up behind me very quickly, and this was on a 4-lane road, and went by me like I was standing still. So, obviously, excessive criminal speed, getting behind him, 107 miles an hour. 107.
Wow.
So,
on a motorcycle.
On a motorcycle. So I stopped him, and it's always that look. It's always that look when you get him stopped. And I walked up, and I'm talking to him, and he told me, he goes, you know, I thought you were a cop car. Well, that was the warning, and you failed that. And then you went 107 miles an hour. So he was very apologetic, but unfortunately, that's excessive speed. And I had, you know, this is the other thing I think I need to hit on, too, what we're seeing a lot in law enforcement is the impaired driver for drugs. That is so prevalent right now. And I just saw the new stat. Did you see this? Where last year, 2020, over 93,300 people died of drug overdoses. That's historically high. We've never had those records. That's like 259 people a day. That's sad. And we're seeing it in the driving too, where people are popping pills, popping dope. You know, they it's just sad. I stopped the car the other day. I was with our constable, Melissa Worthland. We were together. We're at a stop sign. This car, older model vehicle, came up really slow, turned left in front of us, and almost clipped my front of my vehicle. And I looked at them, and they're going so slow, and I was waiting for the impact. I looked at them, and they just were looking straight away like they didn't even know where they're at. So we ended up making a stop on them, and I've never, in my 37 years, seen the passenger was so out of it with drugs. I mean, literally, the eyeballs were solid red. And but he had legal prescriptions, and he was popping pills like you couldn't imagine. And she was right on the edge, let's just put it that way. And it's just sad. It's really sad how illicit drugs, pill popping is just changing who we are in this country. So please, if you know somebody's got an addiction, get them help. Let us help if we can.
And don't drive. I mean, if
oh,
you're
please
going to be doing
don't drive.
that,
Yes.
don't drive.
Yeah, that's my point. Yeah, please. We addressed that the other day, and you can't be driving cars. People think that marijuana, well, it's legal now. It is legal, but it doesn't mean impairment doesn't have to be alcohol. Any impairment to the slightest degree is DUI. Slightest degree of impairment. So whether you're popping pills, smoking dope, marijuana, whatever it may be, methamphetamine, heroin, fentanyl, whatever it is, you're going to get. We don't want you behind the wheel of a car. We don't want you doing illicit drugs either, but we want to keep you safe.
We have a lot of shout-outs today. So let's start with Ken Froyland. Was a detention officer for the sheriff's office and retired years ago, but he's still around. And many of you might know of him because he used to have that really cool Vietnam-era motorcycle with the sidecar.
The old Army one, the green, olive green,
yes.
drove green, and drove around town. He had the gun rack in the back with the guns that came out.
I
of
love
it.
that at the Christmas parade every
Christmas
year.
parade.
Yeah.
And, well, Ken, like I said, Ken retired from us years ago. And I've talked. He's rode with me a couple of times since I've been sheriff, but he called their day, and they had a little birthday get together out at Vista Village Community Center, and he's 88 years old.
Nice.
So happy birthday, Ken Froyland. It was a nice turnout, well received, and I was just excited to see him. I mean, he was a good man.
And we just want to give a shout out to. We had a lot of thank yous for our deputies and how they behave in their duties and professionalism and everything else. And those are the things that they do on a daily basis. And they're not looking for recognition. But members of the public were, so impressed that they wanted to make sure that they sent emails. So we're going to have a lot of those on our Facebook page because we want to make sure we recognize them as well.
That's one of the most impressive things I do as a sheriff is, are the challenges and complexities out there right now for law enforcement? You bet they are. I mean, we deal with a lot of scrutiny and things like that. But here in Cochise County, when I keep saying it's a great place to serve, and I truly mean that, but there ain't a day goes by or a week goes by we're not getting a handful of attaboys for the men and women that serve at the sheriff's office, both in our corrections, detention center, our patrol, and our support staff, and even our volunteers. You had some on our where the volunteers found the animals. I mean,
right.
You see the hits on that?
I know.
Likes, 450 on 500 likes. I mean, anytime you do something for an animal, it's a win. It's a win-win. But no, they do an outstanding job and going out there every day and serving the public. I'm proud to be a sheriff for this office.
And another group of people is the animal control officers. You just mentioned animals.
Yes.
We only have 5 for the entire county. And these people are so busy all the time. So if you have a complaint that you've called in and you don't see somebody in 30 minutes or an hour, seriously, take into consideration the volume of calls that they're dealing with, especially on a Monday morning. It's ridiculous. It takes them till Thursday to catch up sometimes, only because, there's just so many people and such a need for animal control.
There is. There's so many pets out there, let's face it. And they get loose, or there's a complaint, or somebody wants to turn an animal in, or a dog bite, whatever. I mean, just it's endless, like you say, Carol. On a Monday morning or any morning, Tuesday, Wednesday, I mean, the first 10, 15 calls are animal control. They are, and they just farm them out when the animal control officers check on, and they run all day like that. I just commend the heck out of those ladies that go out there and do that, and they're very passionate about, and they love animals for what they do. It's a tough job. They see some pretty nasty situations.
I wouldn't be able to do it.
No,
I just wouldn't.
No, I'd have a shelter in my backyard.
I know, that's exactly.
I couldn't do it either, and I've ridden with them, and again, I commend them. I know it's a big talk too, and we need to talk about that probably in the future, but the animal shelter situation for Cochise County. Mm-hmm. That's a big one. And I'll just throw this out there, and one of the suggestions I've made is as we push forward with a new jail, or that develops, if we do get a new jail here in Cochise County, turn the old one into an animal shelter. I mean, think about it. It's set up perfect for that. I mean, you got the cells. The floors are cemented. It's segregated. I mean, it's got everything you'd want to do for an animal shelter. So just something to throw out there right now, and I'm going to keep pushing that. But I think it'd be a good facility for that.
And finally, for our shout-outs, it's hard to believe that this is happening, but July 18th, Sunday, is going to be 3 years for CCOM. So every single person that has worked in CCOM, that currently works in CCOM, and come on down, we're looking, will work for CCOM. Thank you so much for everything that you've done or will do, because, again, another really tough job. You know, you're the voice at the other end of the phone or the other end of the radio or the other end of a communication, whether it's texting or whatnot, but you don't get the opportunity to see the outcome for the most part. You just get to see all the stuff coming in. So thank you to everybody there for what an amazing job you do.
It's a very tough job. I mean, it tests your character every 911 call. It really does, and your confidence, and because it is. You got somebody screaming on the other end on a tragic event like the shooting we had this week in Sierra Vista. I mean, those calls flood those centers, and they have to keep their composure all the way through, because if they lose it, we have a real problem. But they do an amazing job over there. And I was with Director Klein yesterday. They're recruiting hard. If you're looking for a job and you want to give into public safety and be part of our law enforcement family, that's an opportunity. Go to the City of Sierra Vista website. They do the hiring for CCOM. And it starts off like $46,000, $47,000 a year. It's a really well-paid job. The center's right here in Sierra Vista, and but I encourage you to do that. It is. It's a job that comes with a lot of professionalism.
And as much as, sometimes you might hear the grumblings or whatnot, it's actually, it turns into a career. So people who start there and they just fall in love with it, all the good, the bad, the ugly, there's people that have been there for years and years and years. And so it's something to take a look at. And again, 3 years strong right now. So you're still in the infancy stage. If you join in, you always have the opportunity to make an impact in your community. So make sure you take a look at that. And congratulations, CCOM, 3 years strong.
Yeah, congratulations. And that's something that hopefully in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years from now, we'll look back on that and say, we made something very positive. And I'm a big believer, whenever you can regionalize government for the efficiency of it and the effectiveness of it, you've done something really well. And CCOM is a prime example of that. So thank you to the City of Sierra Vista, to all our partners out there and subscribers, and to Cochise County, because I think it's a great thing for the people.
And Sheriff, before you go, what is your community message? I believe we're going to talk about turn around, don't drown.
Yes, turn around, don't drown. I mean, we had a critical event here 2 weekends ago where a couple elderly ladies got into a wash and one was swept down, and it's a miracle, but she lived, and I really mean that. They found her buried in debris. So it is, and every year we have that during the monsoon season. It only takes a couple inches of water and you're floating, especially in these washes. In fact, the story on this one was she said she heard what sounded like a train coming at her. And that's the flash flood coming, and that's what hit them. So, again, be very careful out there. When it says flash flood, it means flash flood. So if you see these washes, they might look shallow. Turn around. Don't drown. There's a reason we have that statement, because people have paid the ultimate price for that.
Well, Sheriff Mark Daniels, we thank you for coming and talking to us today.
Thank you, Grady. Thank you, Carol. Everybody have a safe and happy week.
And, Carol, who do we have coming in next?
We have Cochise County Public Information Officer Camilla Rochine.
It's First Watch on KWCD Country, and it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
It's First Watch now.
Hosted by Public Information Officer Carol Kappas and Grady Butler.
On 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look into your sheriff's office. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Kappas, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office, and our next guest.
Welcome back, Cochise County. If you're just driving to work, please be careful out there. And we have Cochise County has their own public information officer for other county offices other than the Sheriff's Office. So Camilla Rochine, welcome. Thank you so much for being on our show today.
Thank you. No, thank you so much for having me. I'm glad we were finally able to work this out.
That's right. So tell us, just introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you and where you come from and what you do.
Sure. Yeah. So I am originally from Tucson. So grew up in Tucson. I'm a native Arizona girl through and through. But I actually, after graduating high school, I moved to Chicago and I went to pursue a career in communications and public relations. So I was out there for almost like the last 10 years, actually. So I recently moved back home just to be closer to home. I spent some time in Maricopa County, keep doing the public relations thing. And then I unexpectedly ended up in Cochise County, which I love. I love every minute so far. And I unexpectedly ended up as, applying for the position of the Cochise County Public Information Officer, which has been an awesome experience. And it's been awesome just that combined with getting to know the area, getting to know the residents, just the community. And it's just been great. So, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your personal background, like college and
Sure, yeah. So like I mentioned, I grew up in Tucson, and then I knew that I kind of wanted to go out and explore the world. I'm like, what can I gain? What can I learn? So I went to Loyola University in Chicago, great school. I kind of went in not knowing what I wanted to do, but I knew I was always like the person who wanted to help out, to share information. So I thought communications was the way to go. And then, I don't know, my path kind of just took me into PR. And then as soon as I graduated college, I ended up at a mid-sized public relations agency. So I worked there with like national consumer brands. So like I was used to working on national campaigns, and it's funny because now that I'm in this position, it's similar and it's different because, there I had time to plan. We'd have public campaigns. We had time to plan and draft a perfect press release and all the information we wanted to share out, and everything was just timely. And here it's just like everything's real time. So you kind of got to go. So I'm lucky to be able to apply all the skills that I learned there, putting together information, knowing what audiences and the public need to know. And then here it's just kind of, really tying that into what the community needs are and just sharing that with them as soon as possible.
And you work with different departments. So the health department has a big push right now.
Yeah.
So what, I would say, what are they working on? But it's probably a shorter list of what they're not working on. So what are some of the things that the health department is doing?
Right, yeah. So when I came into the county in February, it was right at the start of the vaccine rollout, which, it's not just the county's working on this. This is national, global. So it's a big part of our modern history. So they really needed help in getting that information out to the community residents. Where can you receive your vaccines? What events are they having? So definitely a big, important initiative for the health department. So when I came in, I kind of just dove into them, got to know their whole area. They're the experts, and then they kind of pulled me in, and I just started kind of learning from there. It's great to know that a lot of our county has already received vaccinated. It's important to note that if whether you want it or not, it's good to have that information out there. We like to share on our website and our social channels where our vaccination site locations are, where you can get the COVID-19 vaccine, whether if it's for you or a neighbor who wants to receive one, or just kind of it's important to have that information available and those resources available. So that's kind of where I take pride in ensuring that what the information that the health department has, whether they get it from the state or the federal government, that I'm able then to share those resources with our communities.
And when you're putting information out, how do you get it to the people? What platforms do you use?
Yeah, so currently, when I came in, I was kind of also navigating what tools should I use. So the Facebook page is kind of our main tool. Also the website. So I've been developing press releases to ensure that we share links to different resources that either come from the state of Arizona or the federal government. So our press releases in our website. Also the Facebook group, and I've also the Twitter. So right now you can go into the Facebook, the county Facebook and the Twitter, and you'll know that the resources that we're sharing, you'll find them there. So I'm also looking kind of then, now that I've got those two going and consistent, I want to go ahead and reinstate the newsletter. So those should be coming out, and then getting the Instagram going to reach out to different younger audiences and ensuring that little by little, you can always find the information that we're sharing from the county.
That's right. And so one of the other things you do is you work with, again, different departments. Yes. So emergency services, or emergency management is what it's called. So their big push, and they are behind the scenes. So you know that they're out there, but you're not quite sure you can put your finger on everything that they do. But some of the things are, fires, wildland fires.
Yes.
They're your point of contact, centralization for getting resources out there. And monsoon. They're working on monsoon right now.
Yes. Yeah, so similar to the health department, emergency management, they're the ones who are putting all the work and the effort, and I'm just sharing the information that they share with me. So, yeah, especially it was also new to me coming in, wildfire season just came out of nowhere, and, having that information and those safety tips out, they focus a lot on preparedness, so they shared with me a lot of resources that I could share with the public to ensure that the public's prepared, our residents are prepared, they know what to do in a moment of emergency. So with the wildfires, I was sharing information from other sources that the state of Arizona, there's a lot of organizations and other foundations that already have these resources available. So I'll oftentimes share those on our social channels, but then I'll also kind of tailor them specific to what our residents need to know. So, here in a rural area, we do need to clean our yards, and we do need to make sure that we don't spark a fire somehow. So, And now coming into monsoon season, as you all just mentioned when the sheriff was here, turn around, don't drown is the main thing. So we're sharing information that in our Facebook page, and it's important for residents, to be prepared, to know what to do. If there's anyone listening in right now and they're like, hey, you know what, I don't know exactly what I would do if there was a flash flood coming, definitely go to our county website. We share tips and facts and information on how to be prepared. Actually, just yesterday I shared a graphic on our emergency alerts. So if there's anyone in our county that you aren't signed on to our emergency alerts, definitely sign up, because those are important. If you're ever in an area or in your area where there's either a wildfire or flash floods are coming, you definitely want to be alerted and you want to be aware.
Let's talk a little bit about Prop 207.
Sure, yeah. So Prop 207, as many know, came into effect in Arizona, which means that marijuana is now legal. So I worked with the courts earlier this week to announce that beginning Monday, that now anyone who's had previous convictions of marijuana can now file through the Cochise County Court to file for an expungement, so they can have the records either dismissed or looked into, and so that's just a good opportunity. So anyone who's had that record of getting in trouble because of marijuana prior to the proposition passing can now file with the court to be expunged. So there's a form. I shared it. It's on our county attorney page on the website. So you can find that form there. Also, if you look into our Facebook page, we've shared that information. Just scroll down and you'll find the links of what you're looking for.
So a lot of good information out there on, again, you've already mentioned the county attorney, emergency management, health department. So it's just full circle. It's just constant. It's a lot. And people maybe don't realize that Cochise County government as a whole has so many different moving parts and pieces.
Yes.
And they all have to come together and work seamlessly. So one of the areas that I think that it's really important that I want to acknowledge is the facilities management. You have people who work at facilities, whether they're doing your HVAC or your air conditioning, whether they're doing maintenance, whether they're doing custodial duties, and people maybe don't understand that all of that comes together, and that the people are there. In our Sierra Vista office, for example, there's a custodian who works, and you would think, okay, so what do? They just, empty the trash and then they're done. That's absolutely not correct. All of these people manage to maintain the interior of the buildings, but also, the exterior. I was driving by Sierra Vista a couple weeks ago, and the custodian was out there with a big old chainsaw, and she was, trimming up some mesquite trees and raking, and so it's just one-stop shopping. And these are the people that are the glue that holds everything together that maybe you don't pay attention to. So if you know your facilities workers are out there, just tell them thank you for all the hard work that they do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, facilities, everyone in the facilities department, they keep the county going. Like, we wouldn't be able to work in our county offices if it weren't for them, especially during COVID. They didn't have the luxury to, work from home. Like, they kept going in and cleaning our offices. And so if anything, like, they were needed more than ever, with ensuring that all of the spaces were sanitized and everyone felt safe and everyone felt that, everything was clean. So they're definitely a big, important part of helping run the county. And as you mentioned, not just our county offices, but also, around our communities, trimming the trees and just basically keeping us safe. So they're definitely the unsung heroes, and major kudos to all the hard work they do. And it's great to know, like, you see a custodian, like, they're always have a smile on their face. They're happy to do what they're doing. They'll come into my office and they're happy to help clean and sanitize and just ensure that everything's running smoothly. So so they're definitely great.
And
great
running mail too.
Yes, yeah, running mail and everything. So definitely a huge thank you to everyone in facilities. And yeah.
And Camila, before you go, remind everybody how to get to your information for the County of Cochise.
Yes, absolutely. So, we have our our county website, cochise.az.gov, and through there, you can access all of our departments. You can see what everyone's up to, all of our resources, but there's also a public information tab under the administration. So that's where I'll be linking a lot of the resources that we create, or a lot of the links to just find information on on what the health department is sharing, on what emergency management is sharing, and of course our Facebook page. You know, our Facebook and our Twitter, I've been working hard to be as consistent as possible, sharing information with all of our partners that they're able to share with their communities. At the end of the day, it's just important for community members to just be aware of the resources that are available to them. I think that's key. So that's kind of what I try to do day in, day out, ensure that what we have available for the county, they're able to easily access it and know that it exists and it's available to them.
Well, Camilla, we thank you for coming and talking to us today.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
And Carol, how do they get a hold of us at the Sheriff's Office?
So you can reach out and touch us at our Facebook as Cochise County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Mark J. Daniels. We also have our Twitter account is CC_Sheriff. But take a look at the new web page. It's county-wide, and everybody has a consistent web page, and it has the same look, the same feel, but there's a lot of good information. So cochise.az.gov/sheriff. You can look at things like public information. You can look at how to sign up for the application for the charity ride that ends today at 5 o'clock. And you can also take a look at other things that we have, like the Are You OK program. So jump on board.
It's First Watch on KWCD Country, and it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
You've been listening to First Watch with the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Hosted by Cochise County Public Information Officers Carol Kappas and Grady Butler.
Join us again next Friday morning, 7 to 8 a.m.
First Watch.
What you need to know from the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Only on 92.3 KWCD.